All right, so finally we've got the Kershaw Lahar, and this is the foreign made one. First off, I can tell you I appreciate that black oxide clip and the shape it has. It's actually very long, probably longer than it needs to be, but it's definitely better than the Junkyard Dog 2 clip, that's for sure. This is probably the most attractive one of the three, and simply because it's got that great recurve. Um, I like the style of the handle, how it's been designed. It's just a really attractive looking knife to me. And I love clip points too, so it's got that feature as well. The one thing that I wanted to show you that's unique about these three knives, and really for the Junkyard Dog 2 and this one, is right here. Let's see if I can show that to you. There's actually like a shelf. This part right here, when it comes and stops, the tang actually is the stop pin. So when it opens, it rests right onto the liner lock. I'm trying to do this slowly so it'll snap in place and maybe you can see it. But as you can see, the liner lock there is actually hidden. It's not resting, well, it is resting against the back, but there's actually that shelf which covers it. Let's see if I can show it to you on the inside. So it rests normally like any liner lock. There's a tang, and of course on this one it actually features that radiused arcing tang, which helps with the wear. But there's also that cutout, and you see right to about there is where the tang actually protrudes out, and it rests on top of the liner lock, which is what creates the stop pin for this. I'm not too sure how strong that is comparatively to using a regular stop pin that is either screwed in or otherwise captured in, say, liners at the top here. If that's stronger, if the liner is inherently weaker because it is a piece of metal, could it shear off back here? Probably not. Now I'm looking at it, I've got a piece of lint in there. So just an interesting design. I kind of like it in that it makes it for a clean backstop along the top. It lets the flipper swing through freely. There's no other kind of funky cutouts or anything. It goes just very well with this design. Now again, I used with the recurves, I used my sharp maker to sharpen this one up, and at 30 degrees. Interesting thing to note about this, I probably preferred this handle the best. It felt the biggest with the least amount of crowding or cramping. There was no type of bumps or anything. It fits very nicely into my hand. Unfortunately, this was probably the worst one as far as cutting performance. It was the thickest blade. As you can see, it's got a saber grind, and it's actually a flat saber grind, and it was really thick behind the edge. Might be a little thinner now, probably not so much. I did sharpen it up at 30 degrees. I don't think I changed the angle really that much anyway. Most of these were close to 30 degrees already, except the Junkyard Dog 2, which had a previous sharpening to reprofile it. So yeah, the best looking one, probably the worst performer, actually. So maybe in the future I might go a little wild on it and actually try and thin this out and get some better performance out of it. Good looking knife though. Alright, so just some final comments on these Kershaw 3.5 inch. In my experiment using them for EDC, these were probably a little overkill. Not a little, they were overkill for everyday carry tasks. really these are larger, heavier folders, and the grinds are much too thick for probably the normal everyday use that most people are going to use knives for. Again, it's not really a problem for me, and I just enjoyed having the opportunity to carry these around and test them out and get a feel for them. You know, given the opportunity and availability, my everyday carry is going to be a 4-inch knife anyway, and in particular the Spyderco Military. So for me, carrying these knives was no problem. They're actually shorter than what I would prefer to carry, but they were significantly thicker. Um, so I think they definitely fit into more of the tactical knife role, something where you're going to have a bit of harder use. These would do just fine. They can be pushed into the EDC role, but you will definitely notice the hit in pure slicing or cutting performance. But they will have some durability. So that's about it. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know. And I'm thinking about doing the Miraco collaboration models next for some testing. I have the Greg Lightfoot Catchdog and the Kirby Lambert Shockwave. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know that too. All right, thanks.